I have heard scientists and astronomers argue that they can't get here from there, and I totally reject that argument. I think it's almost laughably anthropocentric. I mean, is Earth science and technology the pinnacle of achievement in the universe? We have no way of knowing that. And it's up to us to adjust our worldview and our theories to figure out what's going on.
Well, I have to concede the possibility that the scientific laws as we know them will be different from the ones that we will know in the 25th century.
But the quantity and quality of testimonies brings an undeniable gravity to the subject.
The fact that so many credible people have seen incredible things and have no real reason to try to ask for publicity or try to make these things known other than the fact that they were disturbed by them. That set of observations makes you extremely curious as a scientist to understand what they saw.
According to a 1991 survey, 7% of the American population claims to have seen a UFO. That percentage translates to well over 12.5 million people. And those 12.5 million people are reported to be both wealthier and better educated than most. They include politicians, community leaders, and educators. But of all these respected professionals, there are a select few who rise high above the rest: airline pilots. On June 24th, 1947, less than 2 weeks before the Roswell incident, Kenneth Arnold reported 9 peculiar objects outlined against the snow-covered Cascade Mountains in the state of Washington. His respected reputation as a businessman and pilot gave credibility to his sighting, and the press ran with the story. Soon after, news of other sightings came flooding in. Arnold would forever be known as the man who started it all, but that was just the beginning.
Dark 05, 327.1, 327.1.
On March 25th, 1995, the captain, first officer, and one flight attendant from America West Flight 564 en route from Tampa to Las Vegas saw something odd in the sky near Bovina, Texas.
Cactus 564, go ahead.
Yeah, off to our 3 o'clock. Get some strokes out there. Can you tell us what it is?
Right now, I don't know what it is right now.
At 10:25 p.m., the passenger jet was flying at an altitude of 39,000 feet, and the crew kept their eyes on the flashing object seen below them. As they journeyed west, the object changed position too. Here is the actual conversation between the first officer and the Albuquerque Air Traffic Control Center.
564, did you pay that object at all on your radar?
Cactus 564, no I don't. And talking to the 3 or 4 guys around here, no one knows what that is. We've never heard about that.
But nobody's painting it at all?
Okay, Cactus 564, say again?
There's nothing on the radars on the other centers at all on that particular area, that object that's up in the air?
It's up in the air?
Affirmative.
No, no one knows anything about it.
Eventually, the object moved in front of an active thundercloud, and when lightning flashed, the crew got a better look.
What's the altitude about?
I don't know, probably right around 30,000 or so, and it's with a strobe, it starts from going counterclockwise, and the length is unbelievable.
The experienced airline crew was seeing something, but the controllers were still in the dark. No unknown target was picked up on radar, but the controller decided to check for weather balloons and possible military activity in the area. He radioed Cannon Air Force Base.
Cannon 21.
Cannon, go ahead.
Hey, do you guys know if there was anything like a tethered balloon or anything released that should be above tie band?
No, we haven't heard nothing about it.
Okay. Guy at 39,000 says he sees something at 30,000 that the length is unbelievable and it has a strobe on it.
Uh-huh.
This is not good. Okay.
What does that mean?
I don't know. It's a UFO or something. It's that Roswell crap again.
On March 15th, 1995, that Roswell crap had once again resurfaced, and, like Roswell, this incident still remains unexplained. It's been over 2 years, and the crew of Flight 564 have not wavered from their story. However, even today, they prefer to remain anonymous.
There's a lot of confusion, a lot of hesitancy about even reporting something like this, even in FAA, even in military. They're going to think we're crazy. I don't want to be grounded. I'm risking something here. And a lot of airline pilots feel that way, too. Why should I report this? I don't want to be under medical microscope here. I'm not losing my mind.
Airlines don't like to employ people who see strange things. If you have a reputation in your company or your Air Force squadron as being the guy who saw the UFO from your F-18, I'm not sure I want to fly wing with him. It's a subtle thing. Again, it goes back to denial. It's easier just to deny it and say, all right, he's an oddball. She just saw something that just couldn't be seen, so she's probably not as reliable as she should be.
When reputations are at stake, many are reluctant to break their silence. But on the rare occasions when those in whom we entrust our national security speak out, can we afford not to listen?
I did bring some friends on a specific day where I wouldn't be working, and they got to view some of the tests for themselves.
It's just sitting there.
Lazar claims they saw a brilliant light, an alien spacecraft that was moving through the sky in directions and angles beyond the performance of conventional aircraft.
Coming toward us! Coming over. Holy moly, my heart is pounding. Look at that. Is that beautiful? Is it beautiful?
Now, we weren't in the base. We were still 10 miles away from it. But even out at that far, there was still a reasonable amount of security. And we were able to see quite a few things. And as time went on, we became lax and eventually got caught. The day after I was caught, I was supposed to show up for work. However, they had me debriefed at an Air Force base north of Las Vegas. That's where a lot of the friction began between myself and the people there. They pointed weapons at me, yelling in my face at a close distance. They were as angry as you could be without hurting someone. They threatened my life. At the time, they threatened my wife's life. Past employment records, places I've been, places I've worked, people I had worked with. All this information began to disappear, and I actually began to be concerned that perhaps they were going to do the same to me. I thought it became necessary to see one of the people on a local news station, because I thought if it went on the news, they couldn't make me completely disappear. It would look very suspicious if all of a sudden this person, released these claims and then he disappeared himself. So it was kind of an insurance policy for me.
Well, there's several, actually 9 flying saucers, flying discs, that are out there of extraterrestrial origin.
After Lazar broke the story on the spacecraft, he was arrested and charged with pandering, helping to run a brothel in Las Vegas.
When Bob came and told me that he was involved on the outskirts of this illegal brothel operation, I saw my professional life flash before my eyes. I was very upset.
I had written and developed a computer system so a local brothel could run efficiently in town, and that is, in effect, against the law.
And I eventually convinced him, we have to break this story. You can't let somebody else do it because it will come out. That may have been a mistake from a legal standpoint for him, but I think it was important.
And strange for a little case like that there'd be FBI personnel and things like that at the hearing. So was there a push on to create a lot more furor than necessary? Sure, I'm positive there was. They looked at that as something to discredit me.
On paper, I think Bob Lazar comes across as a complete fraud. Yet I've talked to enough people and I know enough stories about things that have gone on in Area 51 that my gut feeling is that the guy was there. Whether things happened precisely as he said, I can't be sure.
Should we believe Lazar's story? Tom Mahood has discovered that he did work at Los Alamos, but only for a civilian subcontractor. He was not a research scientist. He was a junior technician working on open civilian projects.
Bob knew when and where flight tests of these objects were going to take place, because 3 weeks in a row, he took people up there and they videotaped it. How did he know? I had a person who worked up there put him through a series of questions, not asking the big questions, where are the saucers kept, but small questions like, where's the cafeteria? How do you pay for your meals? Things like that. That person, whom I know worked at Area 51, was convinced that Bob, in fact, had been at the facility.
I believe the operation moved a short time after I went forward with it, possibly in 90 or 91. Where they are now, your guess is as good as mine.